It is an opinion made up about being empty or not. This tithi doesn't discard itself. Also, the word nothing is there is an opinion as well. Understanding is itself a tithi, an opinion. Made it up, becoming a condition, fixes on all things. That nothing is there, is not about anything. This is an opinion fixes on all things. It doesn't purify itself, therefore it's stuck with itself. It fixes on all things. You have to step back, not involved even within the non-involved itself. That which has nothing to do with being empty or not. When you say that all things are empty, this is an opinion and meaning given to all things. All things is not about anything. This is also an opinion. We have to step back to purify the opinions themselves. Then it will have nothing to do with being empty or not. Everything is from not involved, from the non-involvement itself. That which has nothing to do with being attached or not. It has to be opinions that purify themselves. These are not about using opinions to fix on all things. Like everything is empty, everything doesn't exist. This is not the way. This is the opinions that fixes on all things, fixes on the mind. That's why the mind is fixed by the opinions. It's impossible to get out of itself to this fixation. This is the opinions fixes on the mind, and the wisdom fixes on the mind. And it's impossible to get out of this fixation. This fixation is like consecrates itself, locking up itself. The opinions itself is the fixation. Opinions fixes. When there is listening and then there is an unwinding, this is only unwinding from one level. Normally, we are projecting on all things and fixes on all things, attached to all things. This is a delusive attachment in the way that is all over the place. But when we use this kind of philosophy, listening and then unwinding from all the delusive attachment that is all over the place, that is one level. It seems to be unwinding, but it's not yet unwinds from the unwinding itself. It's not yet discarding from the state of unwinding itself. Just like lotus flowers blossom out from the bud, but it's not yet discarding the blossoming state. At this point, when discarding the wisdom, that's it. That which has nothing to do with being empty or not altogether. Then it will have nothing to do with opinions about being empty. Because being empty or not is an opinion. That's all. That which has nothing to do with being empty or not. It will purify the opinion about being empty or not. That's all. This is blossoming, the discarding the blossoming state. This is derived from the wisdom that fixes and conditions the mind, and from the opinions that fixes on the mind. Before it was the essence that is direct, but later on it becomes like a philosophy. Emptiness is like a wisdom, is a philosophy, therefore it becomes a condition. Actually, emptiness doesn't have any meaning as emptiness at all. This is from the understanding of all things, and then there is an unwinding, and then there is a fixation to unwinding. But it is not yet unwinding from the unwinding itself, not yet discarding the unwinding state. Just like the blossoming lotus flowers doesn't yet discarding the blossoming state. Therefore, that which has nothing to do with this emptiness or not emptiness, unwinding or not unwinding, that which has nothing to do with grasping or not grasping, engaging or disengaging, this will purify all terminologies, all the wisdoms and opinions that conditions the mind. This will be okay. Continue with that which has nothing to do with being empty or not. Naturally, it will not have anything to do with all things, with everything, whether they are called matters or non-matters. Blossoming, discarding blossoming states. The idea of non-attachment, then use this sentence, that which has nothing to do with attachment or non-attachment. Whenever the opinion conditions the mind, there will be the duality happening. Let's say if all things are empty, then there is also not empty. This is the duality of opinions. Let's purify all this. That which has nothing to do with being empty or not. There is no need to be empty in whatever ways. It will end all clinging about being empty or not. End the clinging with Dhamma, with spirituality. When thinking about that which is non-attachment, is lighting up at one level. But that which has nothing to do with attachment or non-attachment will give ending to any state that is unwinding or not. This will have no one that is reaching or not reaching, no one that is ending or not. It will turn into purify without traces for everything. Just like helping through unwinding and liberation. nothing to do with involvement or non-involvement. Not grasping for the conclusion itself. Emptiness, discarding the emptiness itself, it will purify the opinions about emptiness, about being empty. Why emptiness has to discard itself? Because it is an opinion. Because it will not become a titi, an opinion or a wisdom about emptiness. Wisdom itself is also an opinion. Discard the discarding itself. Why have to discard the discard itself? Because discarding is an opinion, it is a wisdom. When discard the discarding itself, there is nothing to be discarded already. This is not about discarding anything. Otherwise, you have to discard a lot. Because when giving opinions about being empty or not towards all things, it is an opinion with all things in such a way. That's why we have to purify the opinions, the titi. This cannot be studied. Otherwise, it will become titi, opinions. We have to share from mouth to mouth. It will end, it will be bygone, right at that moment. Because we share through the purification instead of hanging on to the lightness. Lightness, discarding the lightness itself. Otherwise, it will be stuck with just the contentment and the attachment to being clear, being spacious. Lightness, discarding itself without grasping for the lightness. That's it. Because it has been stuck with just the idea with the lightness. It has not been further to discard the lightness. Because this is the steps for the noble ones. Now we have to help the noble ones to end their steps also. To not be stuck with just the steps of the noble states. These are steps that has to be discarded continuously. Because when feeling clear or spacious, it's still stuck at that state, not yet discarding such a state. Being clear, not grasping for itself. Being spacious, not grasping for itself. Lightness doesn't grasp for the lightness itself. Not grasping, also discarding the not grasping itself. Not attached, discard to the non-attachment itself. This will end someone who is not attached. Because everything is still in between opinions. Just like it's always giving meanings as always with everything. At every stage, at any moment. When feeling lightly, there is the fixes on the lightness of such a state already. When feeling that nothing is there, the opinion is fixed on such a feeling already, that there is nothing. Just like the causes of opinions rooting down within seeing and knowing. Significant in seeing and knowing is the causes that is rooting down. And unfortunate when one practicing on knower and seer since the beginning. Practicing the cause of suffering when practicing to observe, to see, to know, to look. Because whenever one passing through any steps, there will be always the seer and the knower that always attached there, controlling there. Whenever there is the feeling of lightness or spaciousness, there's always the knower and the seer that always attach and control. It's impossible to get out from the seer and the knower that is always fixes and conditions itself. This is like always having oneself within such a state at all times. No matter one will shift into any state. This is bad luck. That which has nothing to do with engaging or disengaging. We have nothing to do with the attempt to begin or to end at all. This will have nothing to do with the beginning or the ending in the knower at all. Because it is giving ending to the attempt to begin. That which has no significance within involvement or non-involvement, it will purify the attempt to begin. It will purify both the steps of those noble ones and the worldly people at the same time. This will give ending to the causes of karma or causes of suffering and the suffering itself for both the noble ones and the worldly people's steps. No significance within involvement or non-involvement altogether.